Hello, my name is Duncan and welcome to Back Away from the Donkey and Bath Books. And it's been a beautiful day up here at 59 degrees north. I hope it's been nice wherever you are. This is on Monday. I'm actually recording this and it'll be going out on Tuesday. On Tag Tuesday, I'm not going to have a tag video out. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. And I said, looking outside, it's still nice. It's sort of 6, 7 in the evening. I don't know what time it is. But yeah, anyway. So, welcome. This is another pick and mix, which is basically a book haul with some other bits whacked in on it. So my reading past week hasn't been particularly brilliant. I finished Imperial Earth, which I've got down here, which I've been buddy reading with Gavin from Genre Books, and we are going to have a discussion about this at the weekend, and hopefully that'll be up on one of our channels the following week somewhere. I'm not sure who's hosting it, whether it's me or him. We haven't decided yet. We haven't got to the details, but there will be a nice talk on this. Trying to get me to like Clark. And I'll tell you something. I have opinions on this book. I've got a few markers in there and stuff, and I've still got to write a bunch of notes. I'm gonna go and write a bunch of notes. So there's that, and the other thing I have I've actually got that chapter left in it is The Rise and the Fall of the Dinosaurs, which I've been slowly reading. Can you see that on my Kindle? Like that. So I'm just looking at the monitor there, which by Steve Brissetti, which I've been really enjoying. It's dinosaurs. What's there not to love? I'm probably going to do a video specifically on that one. I don't normally do videos on much non-fiction stuff, so that'd be quite an interesting one to do. And there's some other bits that I'm doing. And I've got a couple of videos coming towards the back of the week. But yes, so the whole part. Probably after this week, I'm waiting for one thing. Waterstones should be dispatching within 2 weeks, and they've not dispatched yet. And probably that will be my last one for a few months, because I've just gone a bit mad recently. But I could be wrong, so I will start. I've got a bunch of stuff on Kindle, and I've got a bunch of physical stuff as well. So we'll start with the physical stuff. And then we might have a little bit of a break, and I can show you. I did one of my dog walks. I went around our old hospital, which is just sort of over there somewhere. It's been derelict now for 5 years when we got the new one, and I was of the opinion, the quite controversial opinion, that we didn't need a new one. And I used to work in that hospital, and I went around it, and it is rather sad. So I might show you a little bit of video of that, and maybe a bit of a dog walk or so, just to break up this video and reward anybody who stays till the sort of the middle section. So if you want a little wee bit of a reward, there we are. If you hear any noise in the background, everybody seems to be mowing their grass, and I wish they'd come and do mine. But actually, I'm having anybody knows anything about wildflower gardens? I've got an idea of my back garden is top bit's flat. It's pretty damn useless garden, and then there's like a 30-degree slope, which is bloody useless. Dogs run around in it, but probably about it. My old golden retriever, before he sadly died, his arthritis in his back legs got so bad that he'd go down the bottom bit and he couldn't get back up, and I'd have to carry him back up. It's not a huge garden, so my idea is this slope area I'm going to maybe seed with some wildflower seeds, which I know nothing about, honestly. And there's also a section on the front I was going to consider doing the same thing. Then I was going to have the flat bit of normal grass, and we've got some bushes. Well, we're putting some bushes down the bottom of the fence line. And the top area I was going to make into sort of the area where the dogs go and I go, and I can go and sit. Because our garden actually overlooks what is a sort of runoff swampy area. There's a big area that's basically what I call the swamp. It's quite a big area. That's why we get frogs across at certain points. It's basically where a little stream goes through, and nobody's ever going to build on that. But yes, if anyone knows anything about planting wildflower stuff, I know nothing about gardening, and it's just an idea of mine. Totally by the by, totally nothing to do with books at all. But I thought I would mention it, just because you never know, because there's lots of randomness here on Sunny BookTube, as we all know. And actually, if anyone wants to see a film of it on a picture, I'd quite happily show them. But anyway, so back to the holiness. Is that such a word? Holiness? The physical stuff here. So I've got on a new thing that I've put here to make it easier, because I've had to get a new microphone because my old microphone died on me, and I replaced it recently, so hopefully my sound's better, and that has to sit here, whereas my old one could sit over there because it was a shotgun one. This one isn't a shotgun one. If you know anything about microphones, that's the difference. But yes, I'm talking rubbish now, and I didn't want the books too close to it because I didn't want to crowd it and you hear all the rustling. But anyway, let's start. First one is Canterbury Tales. And I've not owned a copy of this for years. I used to have a copy of this. This is the Oxford edition, and I know there's slightly different translations. I got nothing. I don't know about this one. I just saw this round. I love the Canterbury Tales. I did, before I went back to university, I did a creative writing course, and part of our studying was the Canterbury Tales, and everybody sort of poo-pooed it to start with, but I really got into it. So yeah, and I'm quite a fan of Oxford World's Classics, so I think they're really good additions. And tell me what sort of translation this is. Notes on the translation. Peter Levy. I know nothing about the translations of Canterbury Tales, but it's Peter Levy, and I'll probably do some research when I get around to reading this again, which I haven't for years. Next one is, I found a copy of Graham Greene's Brighton Rock, which is another book that I really like. I studied this at school, and I really liked it. And there's a great film of it, 1957, a great film about it. And it is in some ways it's quite a nasty book. But I wanted to reread it at some point, so I know you get new versions, but I really like this old Penguin edition. I like the cover. And it's Graham Greene. Graham Greene's a great writer. And at the same time I picked up James McCain, Double Indemnity. I know he wrote The Postman Always Rings twice, but these crime masterworks, I've got about 4 or 5 of them now. The first one I ever got was a Sherlock Holmes one, which I got, and I sort of pick them up whenever I see them cheap. And I've never read any James McCain. Is he good? Actually, it's quite a short book. Maybe I should consider reading it soon. Who knows? And then we've got Paul Temple. I've got another one so-called on the way, which I say could be the end of my book purchasing for a while. This is Paul Temple. So I got the second one was supposed to be on the way. And Paul Temple was a radio program produced in the 1940s, I think. And it's like a detective whodunit. Then, typical BBC, they lost most of the recordings. But what they did, they found the scripts and they re-recorded it with traditional equipment and everything. And I've actually been recently listening to them on the radio. And I've really, really enjoyed them. So I wanted to read the books that were done. So at some point this year, I hear rumours that Sean Stanfus may be doing something about radio things that were adapted. So if he does actually an event, I might read that then. But if not, I'll probably dip in now. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it. Paul Temple, I think it's like a, how do you describe it? It's like a whodunity thing. It's nothing sort of spectacular, but it was quite enjoyable. And I said I've really been enjoyed listening to the sort of redone radio plays, which they did a few years back. And I said they used the traditional equipment to do it. And if you're in the UK, it's on Radio 4 Extra, it has been. And there's probably all on the BBC Sounds, which was the iPlayer radio thing. But the iPlayer radio thing used to be better than the Sounds is, but that's just me. The next one is True Names and the opening of the cyberspace frontier. If you know and if you think True Names, I think is a fantastic sort of novella. And I've got a copy of True Names, and there's a copy of it in here, though it's without. There's some original artworks in True Names, which isn't in this version of it. And I think somebody should do a really good copy of it. It should be a masterworks because it was was the first cyberpunk thing before cyberpunk came out, before William Gibson's Neuromancer, about a year before, and Vernon Jace, very good. But this is like the novella is about. I think this is the only way you can buy it now, unless you try. But if you try and find an old copy of it, they are going for stupid money. Yes, the novella is literally that. So it's the last 189 291. So it's the last 100 pages. Literally, the novella's 100 pages. And the rest of it is essays on the importance of the work and the importance of the book and stuff like that. So I'm actually quite excited to read this at some point. I said True Names I just think is a fantastic story. But it's one of these ones, because of the way text moved, you have to read it in the context of what you know about tech has all come afterwards. Does that make sense? Like in it, they're using things like avatars, which nobody'd even thought about at the time. And it might seem quite a straight, normal story, but if you think about when it was written and what he put in it, it is quite stunning. So yeah, that's True Names. And the final one is another Clark one, because I'm trying to like Clark. And I said, I've just read Imperial Earth, and I said all about that at the beginning. This one was the Songs of Distant Earth, and I just like the synopsis of it. This is a Michael Whelan cover, of all things. There was newer versions of it, but I quite like that one. And this was also about Generation Ship, and I like Generation Ship, so that's why that one there. So yeah, so that's all the physical stuff done. I'm going to rest for a couple of minutes. I'm going to give you some little videos of just stuff. They'll probably be shaky because they're all done on a little camera, not on my iPhone, so they're not going to be fantastic quality, but I will edit them so they look a bit pretty. But it's all around my old hospital where I used to work, and you'll think, oh, that's quaint, but yes, I live on a bloody island, so it's all going to be a bit quaint and small compared to anything down in a mainland city. But we've got some Fandango new hospital, which I think is just over big for what we need, but that's my opinion. And I've probably got some dog walking stuff in there, probably with Lilu, Sharpei, because I didn't do much because Little Men's, don't know what film I've got, but I'll chuck something in there. Anyway, and then we will go on to the e-booky type stuff, and I think that's it. Let's get back. So I'm back. As I said, I've brought a load of ebook stuff, which I don't normally do, but there's like quite a few here. But mostly because they were cheap. And I just ended up on them. And this is the danger of ebook stuff. I picked up because on Kobo they had Patrick Samfire's The Manic Fawn books. And if you see me last week, I read the first one of that, which is Something for a Dark God, which I picked up years ago, and I read that, and I quite enjoyed it. It didn't blow my brains out or blow my socks off, but it was really, really quite an enjoyable read. And there's 4 books in the series, and they're all coming out for 99p, and on Kobo, so I thought, sod it. So I picked those up, and I actually re-brought the first one again with the new cover because I felt guilty for picking them up 99p for a indie author. So I felt guilty about picking them up, so I thought I'd rebuy the first one with a different cover. Even though I could obviously change the cover of the copy I've got in Caliber. But hey, 99p, I just felt guilty. So I brought a book I already got. I'll have a look, see if he might have done some corrections and changed the edition or something. And other than that, we picked up Home's Coming, which is by Kenneth Johnson. And if you don't know, Kenneth Johnson's script writer, he did director. Let me think about most famous one he did is he wrote V and did the first thing of V. Did Alien Nation, which is the obvious one, and what's the Short Circuit? Second Short Circuit film, Short Circuit 2. He directed that and wrote that. And Short Circuit is the one with a very dodgy racial stereotype in it, but it is still quite a fun film. And he's done loads of other stuff. And this is called Home's Coming, and apparently it's pretty good. And I'm like a bit of Sherlock Holmes. And this is Sherlock Holmes being in suspended animation and coming back in the 21st century. And I thought, it's got to be worth a read. So I managed to pick that one up. I said, I am putting all those things up here, which you've probably already seen. Next one was A Gentleman in Moscow by Emil Taunus. I wanted to read this for a while. I did want a physical copy of it, but this was another dealy thing. And because I really want to watch it, because I watched the series on, was it on, which one of the millions of streaming things was it? I think it was on Disney, with Ewan McGregor playing the main guy, and I really, really liked it. It's about this guy that's in revolutionary Russia after they killed all the royal family, and he basically ends up being under house arrest in a hotel. And it's just a really, really interesting story, and I'm really intrigued to read the book, and I've heard really good things about it. Who's the booktuber? There's one of the booktubers said it was one of their favourite all-time books, and I can't remember who it is. But if you're watching, and you're that booktuber, say something down below. So I'm really quite intrigued to read it. But yeah, I should have a physical copy of it, because it's the sort of thing I would normally, but I haven't. Another book, The Stromness Diner by Peter Benson. Peter Benson, British writer, done a few things. The Stromness is down the road, and it's where I used to live at one point. But it's about somebody from London somewhere who comes up to Orkney and then tries to find himself. But apparently it's an okay book. It has Stromness in the title, which made me pick it up. And I think that's it. Just double checking. Yep, that's all of them. So yes, so that's probably going to be it for a while. I said I've got one thing I'm waiting for Waterstones and another one of the Paul Temple books. So my next pick and mix will probably not be Hawley, but be talking about what I've done for the week. And I'm hoping to sort of film some stuff during the week. And if it's suddenly gone a bit dark, I mean, clouds have gone across the sun, so it's might have gone a bit dark in here. Hopefully the camera's compensated. But yeah, that's it. So I've got a couple of videos coming out at the back of the week. I've got one that I'm going to blame Gavin for, which may end up being a series of videos, because he's just sent me down some big bunny hole, and I've been emailing a few booktubers asking them what they think something is. But yes, and that should be coming later in the week. And I've got some comic stuff going on soon. I'm still trying to get on top of stuff. I've got a few bits from behind I'm going to do as well. But I'm not going to make promises I can't keep, so that's it for the moment. And I said, you will get at least one other video from me this week, hopefully two, but we will see. And I said, I'm recording the thing with Gavin at the weekend, hopefully, or over Easter. And I don't know whose channel it's going to go on. We've not decided, but it doesn't matter. But I will point you in the direction of that one, wherever it is. And I said, final. So for anybody who stayed till the end, on the 27th, I'm on Sean's channel, the Desert Island Books. And as a fan of Desert Island Discs, it's quite nice that I actually get to do the Desert Island Books. So I have to pick 8 books and 1 record and a luxury item. The books I'm not too bad on. I'm still to and fro with some of them. The music I'm having the biggest problem with. Because when I listen to Desert Island Discs, which if you're not in UK, it's on Radio 4, and it's basically some same principle that Sean's doing, but it's with records, and then somebody takes a book and they get as well. Here's obviously his books and the music. A lot of people go on there and they pick stuff that means things to them or brings back memories, and that's what I sort of am planning to do. And the music is causing me problems for this. I listen to stuff from classical to film soundtracks, which I adore, to thrash metal, to folk music, even some jazz. It's all over the place, my musical taste. So trying to find something has been quite difficult. The 8 books is not too bad, but I think there's going to be some on there which are going to surprise people. But hopefully you'll find it interesting. And 27th on Sean's channel, it's on 9 PM British summertime, which I couldn't tell you what time it is anywhere else in the world because I'm not that clever. I think you're 2 hours ahead or behind in Europe. mainland Europe, Central European time, but I don't know because this time of year the clocks move around in Central European time as well. But yes, it's enough of me rambling. So if you get to the end, I think you need to put in the comments. You managed to get to the end of this. Tell me about the price of fish. Okay? What do you know about the price of fish? Just put that in the comments, because that'll confuse anybody else if they've not got to the end of the video, if they've cut away halfway through. But anyway, I will speak to you all very soon. I said hopefully another video this week. If not, have a good Easter and enjoy yourself. Don't eat too much chocolate. And I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye for now.